As I mentioned earlier in this lesson, it's important to test drive your voice in as many different styles as possible. Listening to as many singers as you can who sing different styles of music will help you to learn the idiosyncrasies that define the genre. Without that kind of study or attention to detail, it's quite common to hear singers applying the only technique they know to every different style without changing the way they approach the song technically and stylistically. For example, if I was to sing a pop song with a classical tone, because let's pretend that's all I know how to do, we'd have something that sounds like this. It goes like this, the fourth, the fifth, the minor fall, and the major lift. Okay? Or what if I only know how to sing in the pop style, yet I'm attempting to sing an operatic aria? I might sound something like this. Oh, mio bambino caro, mi piace bello, bello. Alright, it's no good. Or what if I only sing jazz and I'm trying to sing a theatre song? Maybe I'd sound like this. Someone like you found someone like me, and suddenly nothing will ever be the same. It's no good. As you can hear and see, none of these renditions engage you except for the silliness, but you're my audience and you're not engaged, and none of those songs sounded authentic. However, what if I could sing in all three different styles, pop, opera and theatre, and applied the correct approach to the corresponding style? So for that first song, instead of sounding out of place by using a classical technique and approach, I would change the placement of my tone and make it a little more pharyngeal, rather than having my soft palate raised higher, which is used in classical singing. I would also add a little breathiness here and there, and maybe even some glottal stopping, okay? I'd also make my vowels more speech-like and less rounded. So instead of sounding like this, it goes like this, the fourth, the fifth, I would sound like this. It goes like this, the fourth, the fifth, minor fall, and the major lift. Okay? So notice the difference in the way I'm able to express the lyrics more authentically and appropriately. It's much more musical and engaging for you, right? And that's because I'm using the way the music is written, the nature of the story, and I'm changing my technical approach to those things to deliver the message in the way that it was intended by the composer to be delivered. All right? So what about the second song? Well, here I'd do the opposite of what I just did with the pop song. So instead of singing an aria like this, oh mio bambino caro, all right? I'd round my vowels by raising my soft palate more. I'd carry my line through the phrase and keep my breath flow and tone consistent and clear. And I'd sing more like someone from the early 1900s, because although the story is set in the 13th century or something, the music was written and styled to suit the popular style of music in the early 1900s. So applying that technique, I'd sound more like this. Oh mio bambino caro, mi piace bello, bello. Now doesn't that sound more like the operatic aria it is? Again, I'm lining my technical approach up with the story, the setting, and the style. All right, So for the last song, instead of being so laid back and, with that rhythm and flow of the story, I'd sing it more poetically or theatrically and use more animation in both my voice and my action. It's theatre, okay? I'd even out and lengthen my vocal line a bit more and clear up the tone slightly. So instead of sounding like this, someone like you found someone like me. Suddenly, nothing would ever be the same. All right? It would sound more like this. 'Cause someone like you found someone like me. And suddenly, nothing will ever be the same. Okay, so as you can see, knowing your styles intimately helps you to become aware of what you need to do vocally and technically in order to sing that style authentically. And the best way to gain this knowledge is by listening to singers of different styles and analysing what they're doing vocally or technically. You've got to listen, you've got to analyse. This is another example of why it's so important for singers to be excellent listeners.